And just explain to me to start with, because there was some confusion. I originally thought the discussion was just for you technical guys,
Was
but you mentioned
yes, and when this guy's for clients, but well, doesn't has the success that we are hoping for. So just now we are with one client and Daniel and me and Jost that cannot come. But is to have some training about the CSL system with the SIMs and the routers and the mini air.
Okay.
Basically. Okay.
Okay. So I have a few presentations that I can run through. So I've got one for each. I just need to find out how to share my screen. Share content. Okay. Can you see?
Yes. Yeah, we see it.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. I'm actually going to start with the SIM presentation. Can you see the SIM presentation?
Yes.
Yeah, it says CSL by Demes SIM supply.
Yeah, that's the one.
Perfect. Okay, so I will run through the presentation. I don't want to overload with slides, so I'll try and talk as much as possible. Some of the presentations were written at different times, but anything you want to know, you want to stop me about, just shout out and we'll cover it there and then. Okay?
Okay, understood.
Okay.
So the first one is about wants to work. Okay, so the first one is all about SIMs. CSL and through By Demes are really responding to the number of devices in the security industry that now require some form of cellular communication. So we have known for 6-7 years that manufacturers have really started to focus on more about an alarm system and you know, before you have to have an alarm system, they wanted to make it more of a gadget. So you give customers apps, give customers really good upload, download. And to do that, they had to change the communication devices within the alarm panels. So you see a lot of 2G, 3G, 4G devices or IP communicators which talk back to a cloud. They talk back to some sort of alarm receiver in a monitoring station, and they've really advanced, certainly more in the last 7 years than they had done in many years before that. But what it means for the installers is you need to provide your own SIM cards if you're going down the cellular route. And manufacturers may say to you, yeah, just go and buy a SIM, but they're not always very specific at which SIM you need to buy. How do you know if you're installing to a Risco panel, you need 10 megabytes, 50 megabytes, 100 megabytes? How much text, how much voice? You know, you don't really understand fully. And when you work with a manufacturer, they kind of give you an answer which is almost the equivalent to how long is a piece of string? Well, one customer may use one alarm a day, another customer maybe in a high usage site where they're arming it 5 or 6 times a day. And it's, you know, it's quite a wide band of usage. There are also some providers that you go to where they could take 48 hours to get your SIM ready and completed. And as an installer, you need to be very organized to get everything done in time. So what's the CSL by Demes solution? I'm just going to skip this on a bit. So we can provide a SIM card inside the box. So By Demes can send out a SIM in your hands, and it's up to the installer at that point to use that SIM card or not. So if you think about the SIM, we really understand all of the manufacturers in Europe. We understand the panels, we understand how much data they use, and we've either worked with the manufacturer to provide that information, or we've tested it ourselves, so we know how much you should use. We provide a roaming SIM card. So the roaming SIM card, the technology really allows you to jump onto the best network. It has to do that in conjunction with the alarm panel as well. The SIM is not particularly intelligent, so it doesn't really know when to move. The radio module tells it to do that. But actually what the SIM does is it allows it to move. So if you were in an area with poor signal and it drops out, the SIM is now going to allow you to jump onto another network. And this is true for any country in Europe. We're providing fixed price billing. Now we are talking within reason here. So if you bought a Risco SIM card that used 10 megabytes and you started sticking it in an iPad and you used 100 gigabytes, then obviously we'll come back and we have something to say. But if you're using a 10 megabyte Risco SIM and you happen one month to use 15, 20 megabytes, we won't say anything. We understand that panels will use more or less, and we're working out an average. And we also understand that in the first month or two that the customer gets the new panel with the new app, it's a toy, it's a gadget, and they use more. And over the months, that starts to reduce as well. Everything is linked through the SIM Alarm website, and I'll show you that towards the end. We also give you a private APN. So there is a specific APN for these SIM cards, which adds security, goes through the CSL network, which means people can't come on and steal your data. And the whole thing is ready to go within a few minutes. If you look at the brands, there's a few anomalies in here which we'll ignore for the moment. But if you look at the brands, we're working with all of these panel manufacturers. We're understanding all the data that they're using. And if you go into some of them, which we will later, you'll see that within Risco, there's actually two different plans, because there's some with cameras and some without cameras. And that goes across all of these guys. So some in the Netherlands you'll use quite heavily would be UTC and the range of panels they have, Vanderbilt, Honeywell. You know, there's a few in there that are quite specific. There are some others that are specific to other countries. So if we look at some of the keynotes, SIM cards will be provided free of charge with the equipment. You can then use it if you like. The SIM is designed to be used to dial private mobile numbers or landline numbers. It's an international SIM card, which means when you want to send a message to a mobile number in the Netherlands, you must put the international dialing code before you put the number. The same way around. So if you want to make an SMS or a voice call to the SIM card, then you have to put the SIM's country code, which is +372. Okay, that's an Estonian phone number. This registration, I'll show you this, but the installer registers on the online portal. They choose monthly or annual payment. They insert the SIM number, which comes on the packet or the SIM card itself. You can see the phone number. You add your credit card details, and it's now ready to go. That's your 3 minutes. It's really, really quick. And then if you want to manage anything, it's all done via the simalarm.eu website. So marketing, there is a SIM pack that comes with all of the SIMs, and at the bottom or near the top there'll be a sticker which gives you the SIM number. This is called the ICCID. So that's on the box, so on the packet itself. Plus, when you look at the physical SIM card, the piece of plastic, it will also be on there. It gives you the mobile number, IP address, and importantly, the APN. This is the access point to the internet. So inside your alarm equipment, you need to put whatever APN is printed on the pack, and we tend to leave the username and the password blank. So I'm just going to share another screen. Let me share some different content, and you tell me when you can see this. Okay, can you see this website now?
Yeah, the shopping cart, yeah.
Yes, perfect. So this is the SimAlarm website. So simalarm.eu. This is a website which has been developed for By Demes specifically. So my part in this is I'm just showing you how it works. We actually had a demo for the guys in Spain, where the creator of all of this showed them all the behind the scenes things. For now, we don't need to see that. We just need to see the system working. So me as a customer, I come onto this website, have a SIM card in my hand, and I now just pick which alarm panel I'm going to use. So let's say UTC. The UTC SIM has a monthly price in there, and we've designed this product especially for people using UTC panels. First thing I'm going to do is select my payment frequency. So some customers prefer monthly, some customers prefer annually. You'll see that the price will change as well. And there's also a small discount for doing it annually. So there's a get 2 months free. And I will put in the SIM card number. So remember, the SIM card number is on the SIM itself or on the paperwork. So I type it in here. If I have a barcode reader on my phone and I'm doing this on my phone, I could scan it and copy it. I add it to my cart. I've already completed an account, so it has lots of my details. Place the order and put some credit card information in here. So I have a test account with credit card information in. What's happened there? No spaces. Okay. Okay. So at this point, I would go and accept it. I'm just going to show you another one as well. So I'm going to try and check out with a different payment frequency. So I'm going to do monthly. And it actually collects you to the same place, put all the information in, just the same as before, and this now takes my payment information. So this will take payment from me instantly, and then it will take payment from me again. I don't know my C. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. It will take payment from me at the regular intervals. So if I decided to do it monthly or annually, it will take payment at that point. Looks like there's a problem. Don't know why. Okay, authorization code in there. So let's go back to the web page. Okay, something went wrong. Clear the cart. This is classic demo. So I did this demo about 15 minutes ago, and everything worked absolutely perfectly. Let's try this again. Risco agility, monthly payment, test sim. It's actually activated my SIM card. Check out credit card. Okay. Try this again. That's 12, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm going to click continue. Hopefully, no, not the same issue. Okay, let's go back to SIM alarm. Okay, not sure what's going on there, but typically I would now see this SIM card in my order history. It would see when I've added it. Earlier on, you can see I've unsubscribed it, so I can go and manage in here. So this is when I've activated it. The SIM now works. It's ready for use. I decided to unsubscribe it so I could reuse it. So I did that in there. And then I went to my other SIM portal, which is a CSL SIM portal, and I managed to change the status so I could read it again for this demo. So everything that the customer needs to see is in here, and if they wanted to, they can go and unsubscribe the SIM card themselves. So this is a whole management portal of all the SIMs. Or if I wanted to go and pay again, I go back to SIM, so I go back to home, and I can go and select another one. The whole process of placing a SIM is relatively simple, and I can do that in a few minutes. That's all absolutely fine. Remember, the SIM card comes in your hand. It doesn't work until I've done this step, but as soon as I've done this step, you'll see the SIM card itself goes to activated, and a SIM is now able to work. On the By Demes side, what will happen is my customer number, which by Demes is called a CL number, is inserted into this column, and then for the internal notes, this tells us which SIM bundle. So I know on this one, this is going to be 20 megabytes roughly per month. But actually, does the installer really need to know? You know, the installer just knows that I'm going to go and pick a Risco agility panel, and it's going to be one without PIR cameras or one with PIR cameras. So we've tried to make it as simple as possible.
Yes, it's quite simple. Quite simple.
It's really easy.
It's a normal purchase. Yeah, I enter on the web and just put the code, and it said that code comes on the SIM card.
On the SIM card and with the literature that comes with the SIM card. So it's in two locations.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
For me, it's clear.
Okay. There's also some additional information. So if you wanted to put some information for the individual SIM card, so I put the word test for the note, but that could be a customer's name, it could be a contract number, it could be lots of things for you to be able to go and search and understand it later on. Okay. The other thing on here is it will show you the SIM card number. So this is the telephone number. If you ever want to call or SMS the SIM card, then it's that number there, +372. Okay, any other questions on SIM supply?
And I actually wanted to ask you about you said about the SIM cards and if there's a place with the poor signal,
Yes.
and then with you know, the APN. So
Yes.
let's say we figure out that the best signal is with Vodafone, for example. Then I have to type in the APN from Vodafone, right? And then the different one would be for 3 and so on.
No. So the way it works is our system has its own APN.
Ah, okay. I guess.
It's a CSL APM.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's a roaming SIM card, it will actually use any of those networks. The
Alright.
radio module of the device will power up and say, oh, I can see Tele2, I can see KPN, I can see Vodafone, and it will make a decision of which one to use. Now, if your SIM was not roaming, let's say it was a Vodafone SIM card only, and Vodafone was a really, really bad signal in that area, then your radio module will try to connect to another network, but your SIM card will say, no, 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 you're not allowed. It has to be Vodafone.
Yep.
Because we're providing a roaming SIM, the radio module will say, actually, I would like to connect to KPN because they have a good signal. And the SIM card will say, yes, that's fine. You can go and roam to KPN. If it changed in the future, so if KPN had an issue in the area and the base station went down, then the radio module would look again and say, there's Tele2, let me use Tele2, and the SIM card will allow it to do so.
All right, that's great. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, good. Any other SIM questions? Okay, take that as a no. Let's go on to so can you see the CSL routers presentation?
Yeah, I see it.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So CSL routers. CSL has been selling routers for things like CCTV, access control, store tagging systems, and a variety of different locations for around 3 to 4 years. We originally looked at this project when we understood that we were very good in 4G connectivity and lots of our customers were struggling to get into businesses because they wouldn't allow them on their network, or they were in rural or temporary areas where there was no internet whatsoever. We started bundling together some 4G SIM cards and some routers and some VPNs to make sure it was all secure and locked down, and we became quite successful in what we were doing. If you look at all of the initial areas we looked at, so commercial premises are probably our biggest target market, where you go into a Walmart type store or a TK Maxx, or you go into a big global company and you want to use their internet, and the first thing that the IT department say is, no way. You are not, I don't know what you have, you are not coming onto my network. I'm locking it down, I'm not allowing you on the ports. I'm worried about somebody hacking. So you cannot do it. And that was a real slow process for the installer to have to fight with the commercial company to allow them to do that. Now, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it takes a day, sometimes it takes several months. And we found that the installers were getting to the point where it was easier and quicker for them to provide their own connectivity. So commercial premises, we then found over Christmas, there were lots of pop-up stores and market stores. Then there was the caravan and yacht market where there's no way they were having the internet, but providing 4G would work really well. Barns and temporary buildings. If you see the image here, this is a barn in Scotland, and these are Shetland ponies. Shetland ponies are very, very valuable. Now, this foal here is worth a few tens of thousands of euros. The woman who owned the barn installed CCTV because she didn't want to have to drive up to the end of the field 4 or 5 times every night. You know, she was doing it when the foals are born, and she didn't want to do it anymore. So she installed CCTV. She then looked on her app at this foal who was running around, as you saw at the beginning of the video, and the foal actually fell into this bucket of water. You can quite easily see how it would do this. She saw, where's the foal, in here. She got in the car, drove up to the field, emptied the bucket, rescued the foal, obviously saved its life and the value of it as well, just because she didn't have the internet. Realistically, she wasn't going to the barn every 4 or 5 times in a night. She was probably doing it once, and if she hadn't had a solution with 4G, yeah, that would have been the end of the foal. So what we've devised are some packages. Now we can do custom bundles, as it says at the bottom, but typically we find that customers fit into one of these 4. So either customers using as many cameras as you want, up to 4 megapixel. This is H.624, and I know H.265 is probably twice as good, so you can change the numbers. At 15 frames per second, but importantly, they're viewing on an app, so it's substream. So in this type of infrequent use, they're having a 1 gigabyte bundle, and they would be typically viewing for 30 minutes per month. And that is somebody looking at a site, have my staff arrived? Is the system, is the door open? A customer's coming in, and they're just checking it infrequently. You then double the usage, so 1 hour, and that's our regular usage, or you double again, so 2 hours, and that's our high usage. This high usage bundle is our most popular bundle. Around 50% of all customers use this high usage bundle, and they're looking at a CCTV system typically for 2 hours every month. Or we've started to sell some very high bundles. The difference here is we're viewing on mainstream, which means rather than viewing on an app, somebody's actually viewing on a PC or a laptop. So the image is a lot bigger, many more pixels to view. So even though you've jumped up to 10 gigabytes, typically you're only viewing for 1 hour per month. As I mentioned a minute ago, we can jump this right up. So this can go more and more and more up to 100 gigabytes, and it can also come down to 250 megabytes for certain customers with different scenarios. Now, we do have various different router bundles, but what we've decided to do between us and By Demes is try and limit you to 1, because it's quite difficult to understand with customers. Do you want 4G only, or do you want to use your internet as primary and 4G as backup, or do you want 2 SIM cards in there, both of them working, one of them primarily and the other one is a complete backup in case the primary one fails? And what we decided between us was to go for this single router solution. It has a roaming SIM card in it, so it will work and it will fall over to other networks if the primary network is down. If a customer has a specific inquiry where they would like to use their own internet as well, we can do that. And if they'd like to upgrade and stick another SIM card in it, we can do that as well. Okay, so typically you're selling a 4G only router bundle. Now, on top of every router bundle, we have to give what's called an AnyConnect VPN. So we've partnered with Cisco here to allow customers a route into our network. And by doing this, we're actually securing the whole solution. You cannot, therefore, customers who are worried about security, worried about hacking, actually customers, other people, intruders cannot hack directly into this device. They have to penetrate the CSL network first, which is virtually impossible, and then you have to get back to individual SIM cards, again, without knowing what you're doing, virtually impossible. So what it means for the customer, and this is quite an important step because end users need to know this, is they have to connect to this VPN primarily. That brings them onto CSL's network. And once they're on CSL's network, they open up their CCTV app, and then they connect in the normal way. So connect to us first, and then use your app, and then everything is completely secure. That makes sense to everybody?
Yep.
Good.
Yeah,
okay.
Makes sense to me.
So this is just more about, people can't hack solutions, and we have found that certainly in the age of GDPR, people are worried about, firstly, people hacking, and secondly, data being exposed. Well, one, we've talked about being in CSL secure network, so you can't hack. And two, we actually encrypt all of the data that's sent from the router. So in the extremely unlikely event that anyone did lose data, it's encrypted, it's unusable. So people, therefore, their minds are at ease because of all the precautions we've got. Any questions on the CSL router?
No, I'm okay.
I'm okay for now.
Good. Okay. So Pascal may be able to tell you some other scenarios, but when we initially sold this, we thought, okay, yeah, we'll do some because customers will be interested in security and the lack of ease to connect to IP. But actually, the more and more we've done, we've found some really weird cases where there's tennis courts where people are, rather than manning the tennis courts, people have an app and they connect to the router and they can use a PIN code, which then turns on all the lights, powers everything, all done for a CSL router. A lot of the Walmart stores have tagging systems in. We have routers in those, and every single time that somebody tries to steal something which is tagged, our routers sending the data off-site. But also, the store tagging systems nowadays are intelligent enough to know that somebody picked up a dress from a hanger, they moved it to the changing rooms, they moved it to the till, they paid for it, and then they left the store. And at any point within the chain, they know it. So if somebody picked up the dress and moved it to the changing rooms and didn't purchase, and there were a high quantity doing that, then they know that there's a problem with the way the dress looks on a person, the way that the changing room is lit, the way that the mirror's angled. They can build all of this data, and then our router is sending that off-site for them. Plus, if there's ever a problem on store, they can remotely get back into their tagging system and fix it without having to send somebody to site. So lots and lots and lots of opportunities. Okay, any more router questions before I go to Minier?
Nothing for me.
Perfect. Okay, so we will go to the last slide. Minier, can you see that presentation?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. So Minier, what is Minier? Minier is a single path communication device which connects to typically alarm systems and brings them up to this century. So we all know customers, once they have an alarm system, they don't have that much need to upgrade to a new alarm system. Nobody sat at home with pots of money waiting to buy a new alarm system. It just doesn't happen. People have an alarm system for a specific reason. I've been broken into in the past. My neighbour's been broken into. I have something that I need to protect. My insurance company says that I need an alarm system. Nobody sat there going, "Oh, you know what I'm going to buy? I'm not going to buy myself a new car, or I'm not going to, I'm not going to buy myself a new iPhone. I'm going to go and buy myself an alarm." But what some customers do is they say, "Well, my alarm, which is working fine, I've had it for 15 years, I would really like an app so I can receive push notifications, so I can remotely arm and disarm it, or so I can just see what's happening. I can review the event logs." And what Miniair is able to do is bring that alarm system, the older alarm system, up to date. So it's a plug and play device. I'll show you some connections later on, which gives you an app on your alarm. It works with any alarm system that uses Contact ID or SIA, and it also works with a variety of other solutions, which I'll talk about later. We are providing roaming SIMs in here as well, so we call it a world SIM, so it will lock onto any network that it needs to within whichever country. Another thing for installers is typically those installers who have recurring revenue are worth more money. If you set an alarm system and the customer never pays you for it again, you're only really as good as your last sale. If you sell an alarm system and you sell maintenance, you sell monitoring, you sell communicator on the back of it, the customer's paying you regularly every month or every year, and it means that, one, you'll have enough money to pay all of your staff, you can keep the vans on the road, and two, when you do decide to sell that company in the future, it's worth a lot more money because you can see that there's money coming in all of the time. It's not just word of mouth. So, the app. We have an app which is called My Home Alarm. At the moment it's in English, but very soon, within the next few weeks, we'll have it in Dutch, we'll have it in French, we'll have it in Spanish, we'll have it in Portuguese, we'll have it in Swedish, so lots of other languages and more coming in the future. And this app that customers can download for free on Android or on iPhone will allow customers to view event logs, remote arm and disarm, receive push notification. You can have multiple Miniair devices on one app, so you could have a holiday home in Spain, a holiday home in the coast in Holland or Netherlands. You could have somewhere in Germany, your office, your house, all connected together, and you can also connect many users to the same app if you want to. So everybody within the home, mum, dad, kids, anybody within the business, they can all have the app, and it will allow you to define the zone names, the users' names, and any partitions. So I can have my garage and my shed as a different partition to the rest of the house. So if you want to, after this, if you want to play around, you can use the download this app and use Demes as the username and password, and you can play around with the live system. The device itself is very small and simple. It's about the size of a matchbox and comes with one connector on one side for the aerial, and then some wires out the back of it, two for power, two for the alarm panel phone line connections, one for the input and one for the output, and that's for arming and disarming. Should take you 10 minutes or less to do an install. Really simple. I'm showing this on the DSC panel because the guys in Spain, they have a lot of DSC panels, so I had to pick one, and that was the perfect one. This is just how you would wire that Miniair to a DSC panel, and then some of the programming steps around that, but we don't need to cover. Here is a small section of many alarm panels that the Miniair will work with. Typically, anything that has Contact ID or SIA, this alarm panel will work with to do alarms, and anything which has a key switch, you can do remote arm and disarm with. So here for the Netherlands, you can see that there's some ATS panels in there, there's some Risco panels in there, Galaxy panels in there. So there's quite a lot of panels. In addition, it's not just anything with a, we call it dial capture, but it's the telephone line output. We have customers using this for routers, so they can remotely reset a router. We have people with gates and doors where when a gate opens, they get a push notification to say that it has done so. We have people with oil tanks with a float in there, and when the float gets below a certain level, it sends them a message, and then they can order more oil. Yeah, it could be oil, could be fuel, could be whatever you want. So upgrading the old system, I've talked about recurring revenue, I've talked about the app. It's a really good upsell opportunity to go back to old customers, and it's really, really simple to install. We've got, if I look at the Spanish market, 20,000 DSC panels, which we have mini airs on around the world, and there are around 60,000 mini air devices which have made an old alarm system better. Some of the feedback from customers. So some people stick a mini air on the van and they just do an upgrade on the service. Oh, hey customer, I know you've got this old alarm system. Would you like an app? Oh, yeah, I would actually. Well, here you go. Let me stick this one on. It means that the install cost is also a lot less because you've got the device in your van, you're doing the service anyway, you don't charge any extra for going back out to site again, and you just make recurring revenue. We've got customers who want apps for their holiday homes and their business systems and their normal home, and they've stuck them all together. People turning on and off notifications themselves. And then another one, which I think you guys are probably ahead of the curve, but PSTN is closing or is closed in lots of places. And this device will allow customers to use an old alarm system without having to upgrade the alarm system and buy another communicator, a GSM and IP module. And then the last couple of slides, this is an old slide. We've just been nominated for this award for an independent award for fire and security excellence. Mini Air actually won that award, and it's even better because it was independent, so something that we couldn't influence. People looked at it, people liked it. And then the last slide, which panels is Mini Air compatible with? Either anything with a PSTN modem or anything with a standard output. So on an alarm panel, bell output, but it could, as I said, it could be a door, a gate, a router, anything else. How do I get the app? We'll just download it for free from Google Play or the App Store. On the literature, so the paperwork that comes with the device, the username and the password for the app is on every single one. You just need to make sure that the device is powered somewhere between 9 and 30 volts. Any questions on Mini Air?
The Mini Air comes with a SIM inside.
Correct. So the Mini Air comes with a SIM, a very, very small chip, which is a SIM card,
okay,
and it's a roaming SIM, and works the same as the SIM that we're providing for the router, or the SIM we're providing via that SIM alarm website.
Okay. So the SIM is already inside. It's not a SIM that you install after.
Correct. So the SIM is already inside.
Okay. So it is like a eSIM,
yes.
Electronic SIM. Okay.
Yeah, embedded SIM. Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay.
Funnily enough, the device is too small to have anything else. If you put a plastic SIM card in there, the device would have to be about another 50% bigger.
Okay, so if I use the Mini Air, okay, I must go to the SIM alarm, for example, okay, the platform, and add the number that goes with the device, with the Mini Air.
Correct. Yes, correct. So you go exactly the same place. You go to that portal, the SIM alarm portal. You go and insert your ICCID, which is on the device, and then you start the subscription.
Okay, perfect.
Sounds good.
Okay, any other questions?
Okay, not for me.
Okay, so actions from me, and I'll send you the 3 presentations so you have them.
Okay, thanks.
If you have any more questions, you can come back to me, or if you have anybody who wants to interface with our Dutch or a Benelux office, then you've now got Pascal's details, and he can pass you on to somebody within his team who can help.
Okay, we have your contact.
Yes, you have.
We know who you are.
You know where we are.
Happy to support from here. So
Okay.
Please let me know. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
thanks,
If
guys.
there's no more questions, thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Have a nice
Thanks.
day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.